What's up everybody, Jameson Redding here with the Road Trip Angler. In this video, I'm gonna be reviewing the Flycraft Guide. It's a 3-person raft and it comes in a few different packages. I had the chance to take it out in the water with my dad and my brother-in-law and spend a full day floating down the New River here in the Appalachian Mountains. If you follow the channel for a while, you probably have seen some of the other raft reviews that I've done. I've reviewed the NRS Approach 120, the NRS Slipstream, and the Flycraft Stealth 2.0. This is a bit bigger version of that Stealth 2.0 with that 3rd-person capacity. It's a little wider, a lot more length in it, so it gives you that room to have that 3rd person. I'm also going to be doing a review of the Approach 138 because I believe it is the closest comparison to this boat on the market, and I think it'll be a great video to do a review of that and then compare the Flycraft Guide to that NRS Approach. So be sure to check the channel for that comparison video and that review. But this particular video is about the Flycraft Guide. The boat weighs 145 pounds, it's 14 feet long and 56 inches wide. It is rated for up to what they say is a Class 3 Rapid. Handles up to a 3.5 horsepower motor and has a 1,200 pound capacity. The package that I have here is actually the Inflatable Fishing Boat Guide Fish Package, which is going to come with 2 of the Cataract Streamlight 8-foot 9-inch oars. These are some really nice oars. They're very lightweight, stiff, and that is a necessity. You got to have oars, right? It also gives you the guide gear rack that goes on the back. You also get the Mechanical Advantage anchor system, which takes a lot of the hardness of pulling the anchor out of the equation, because that pulley is going to give you that mechanical advantage to be able to lift that anchor much easier when you're out on the water. This right-hand bank all the way around this curve should hold fish somewhere. Now when you're drifting down a river, speed isn't really that big of a deal. You're not trying to go fast. In fact, you're probably trying to slow down, and that's why the oars and the anchor exist on here, so that you can back row and keep yourself in that position and be able to fish efficiently and effectively. And this boat is designed to be that drift boat, to drift down and fish moving water, and that's where these boats excel. One of the disadvantages is that it is an inflatable, meaning it's going to sit high on the water, on top of the water, not in the water, like a conventional boat or kayak would. And it has a little bit more height off the water than some other hull shapes might have, meaning that the wind can affect it a lot more. So on those flatter sections of river and on flatter bodies of water like lakes, you could get blown around, and that's where that motor and especially that bow mount would really come in handy on those flat water scenarios. I tested this with the Torqeedo 903, which is an electric outboard that has a 3 horsepower equivalent. When it comes to the amount of power it has, it's not as fast as a gas motor, but it has tons of torque, which is really nice to be able to go up against that current. And with 3 anglers in the boat and gear, I had no issue going up against the current with that motor on the back of the boat and get to that fishing area that I wanted to start fishing at. It ain't that good, but it's not, it's still fish.
Hang on to it, we'll catch it 2 or 3 more times.
When it comes to rafts and really any inflatable, I've noticed that they're all super maneuverable. I mean, it does not take a lot of effort at all to spin these. Now this is a bit longer than the Stealth 2.0, which is around 12 feet, and the Approach 120, again, 12-foot boat. And then the Slipstream that I tested was only like 9'6". So this is a longer boat, and so it does take a little bit more room to maneuver. But one of the things I like about these smaller, more compact rafts over the bigger, wider rafts is that I can get them between those exposed rocks in the rivers. And we have a lot of that here in the east, in the mountains in the southeast, those shelf rocks and the big boulders. And sometimes there's not a lot of river flow or depth, so I'm not going through these big wave trains, but more so trying to navigate the small areas between the rocks to get down those rapids. So being able to be a bit more narrow, I'm able to move the boat around and really do those sneaks to get through the rocks. Durability wise, I mean, I think this is right there with the other Flycraft boats and a lot of other inflatables. It does have that added protection where the frame touches the boat. You've got a strip here of added material. You've got added material on the floor where you're going to be standing, and also another layer of protection on the four corners that are going to be the areas of the boat that rub the most. Now, time will tell how it holds up to everything that I throw at it, and I think really loading and unloading and the times that I'm going to have to drag the boat are going to be, you know, what causes it to wear.
It ain't going to be as easy to get it out as it was to put it in, I guarantee you that.
When it comes to like punctures, it's not really an issue with these boats as far as hooks and things like that go. Fish fins can be if you're dealing with some of the smaller sunfish species or panfish species. They have those really sharp fins, and that is something you have to watch out for on inflatables. It's really the only thing I've ever dealt with, and it's the same on any inflatable. I don't care how much protection it has. Those little needle sharp fins can find a way to barely puncture these, and you may get a tiny hole that you have to patch. That is the great thing about it, is it's very easy to patch these, and they come with the patch kit. So you're likely never gonna have an issue on the water that would keep you from being able to get to that takeout. And then you could easily patch it if you did get a small hole. The frame itself is all aluminum and it is all coated, so I think that's going to be super durable as well and going to hold up for a very long time. Can't park there. The boat is very comfortable. I mean, the seats are comfortable. You've got padding on the back, padding on the bottom. I like that they swivel. That actually adds to the comfort when you're fishing. If you need to sit down, you don't want to stand up the whole time, you can actually turn the seat and face the direction that you're trying to fish instead of having to pivot the entire boat. And it's easy to get up and down. You have the comfort of the thigh locks on the front and back, the leaning bar. So it gives you that third point of contact for the stability if you are fishing in rapids or in, you know, moving water where you might have some instability. The other thing is, with two anglers standing and fishing and the other one sitting in the middle rowing, it's really no issue for people to move around and stand wherever they want. We even switched places a couple of times because I was on the back motoring when we motored up to the dam, and then as we began to go down river, I wanted to row. So I switched with my brother-in-law and went from the back of the boat to the middle, and we're both bigger guys at 6 feet tall and over 200 pounds. It was really no issue for us to move around on this boat and even stand on one side or the other. Like, we never felt unstable. We went through a little bit of mild white water. I would say it was not even a 2, maybe touching a 2, depending on water level it could have been, but no issue at all. The boat just went right through it, floated over it like it was nothing. So I do believe it can handle that class 3 rapid, especially if you had someone with experience controlling the boat. So very stable boat, very comfortable boat. We had no issue fishing, all three of us actually, you know, one on the front, one on the stern. Typically, I would say you've got 2 anglers and someone rowing, but I can't just sit there and row. If we're in an area that I can either anchor or slow down and fish, I'm gonna wanna fish as well. And I was able to fish from the middle. And I think 2 fly fishermen could easily fish at the same time from this boat with no issue. And I can tell you right now from the stability, there's no issue as far as casting goes or any of that. Plus, there's plenty of room for gear. I brought a couple of bags. There's ways to strap it down if you are going to be going through a little bit rougher white water, but we just had bags laying under our seat. I had tons of tackle. I had all my camera gear. We had food and snacks. My dad and my brother-in-law brought their own backpacks. So tons of room for all the gear, and very easy to fish from this boat with 2 anglers, and even 3 if you're not trying to all fly fish. Glad I didn't put my waders on. I talk about rigging a lot from a kayak standpoint because we like to take a lot of gear and we rig the crap out of our kayaks. But with rafts, especially if you're going to be fly fishing, you typically want to go the opposite direction and keep the boat as simple as possible. Less things to snag that fly line. And that's how the boat comes. It's very snag free, which also speaks to the fishability, which we just touched on. But when it comes to rigging, there might be a few things that you would like to add. As I mentioned, the motor, you can get the motor mount from them. That's an easy, simple thing. They also now offer the bow mount I saw on their website. But things like cup holders, you're gonna have to rely on some of those aftermarket accessories. I saw that they offer some on their website from Ram that would just clamp simply onto the frame of the boat, and then you could add some cup holders. You've got the D-rings so you can strap stuff down, and of course you've got the big plate on the back where I actually added one of my camera mounts, and you can carry a bunch of gear back there. So you can rig this boat. It's not the same as some of the kayaks that I've reviewed, or even some of the other boats that I've reviewed. If you wanted to add some of those track accessories, there's plenty of places that you could actually self-tap into this frame and add some of those gear tracks so that you could utilize some of those track mounted accessories from companies like Yak Attack. And it would make things probably a little nicer when it comes to having some cup holders and things that you could quickly remove, and even maybe some hard mounted areas for like tackle boxes and fly boxes. I want to touch on value. You know, this isn't a cheap product. This is a very nicely built, thoughtful product, and it comes with a price tag at $6,700 for the package that I bought, and still in the mid-fives for even the base package with no oars. It's a commitment. But when you compare it to other things on the market like drift boats, it's priced really well, and I think you're getting a lot of value in a very versatile platform that would allow you to take up to 3 anglers on the water. And it's gonna get super shallow. It's gonna hold up if it bounces into those rocks very easily, and handle whitewater very easily as well. Plus, it can be packed down into a smaller area to be stored or to be hauled, which you don't get with a drift boat. If you're an angler that likes to river fish, especially, and you want to be able to take other people with you on the water, or if you're a guide that wants a smaller, more compact boat that allows you to get in those tighter areas and get to those more off the beaten path areas, maybe launch off the side of a riverbank instead of at a boat launch, this might be the boat for you. It's very lightweight, it's easy to launch. You can carry it without a trailer. I do have a trailer, which makes it super easy to launch. But I could put this on the roof of my truck on the rack. I could put it in the bed of the truck, especially if I have that bed extender. No problem carrying 14 feet in the bed of even a short bed truck. And you know, I think that adds a lot of versatility, and it opens it up to a lot of different people. I do say that it's primarily what I would call a fly fishing platform, but I was able to carry about 5 or 6 rods, conventional rods, on this rod rack here, especially keeping the tips of the rods in those rod gloves and sliding them in so they didn't get all tangled up. So even if you're a conventional angler, with the ability to motorize on the stern and on the bow now, and having the oars, this is a very versatile platform. You could take it to flat water very easily and fish a couple of people while someone controls the boat and fishes occasionally. You can easily fly fish from this boat, obviously. I think it was designed, hence the name Flycraft, for the fly angler. But it is an awesome, awesome platform if you're a river angler. So if you're primarily floating rivers or looking to float sections of especially shallower rivers that have some mild whitewater, and you want a platform that allows you to take your family along, or you can guide some friends, this might be the boat for you. So be sure to check it out. Also, drop your comments, your questions about the boat. And as always, thanks for watching. Be sure to subscribe to the channel as well. We'll see you.